help me reach 1,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts on the video. Your feedback helps make the contents better. Now let's get to the story.
Watch my father crumple the letter in his shaking hands, his face turning red like a tomato about to explode. "You're a liar," he said, his voice cold as ice. "You've always been a liar, and I'm done pretending you're worth the trouble anymore." Behind him, my sister Jessica stood in the doorway with her arms crossed, and I swear to God, I saw the corner of her mouth twitch into the tiniest smile. That was the moment I knew she'd won. I was 18 years old, and my own father just told me to pack my bags and get out. The worst part? I didn't even do what he was accusing me of. My name is Jake Morrison. I'm 30 years old now, but this story starts when I was 18 and stupid enough to believe that family meant something. Back then, I was a skinny kid with messy brown hair, always wearing band t-shirts that were 2 sizes too big, working part-time at a grocery store, and trying to save up for community college. I wasn't perfect, but I wasn't a thief either. Yet there I was, standing in our living room in suburban Ohio, being called exactly that. If you're listening right now, help me prove something wrong. My mother said I wouldn't even reach 1,000 subscribers, but I believe stories like this deserve to be heard. Help me show her that these stories matter. So let me back up and tell you how I ended up in that nightmare. My mom died when I was 12. Cancer took her fast, like she was there one day and gone the next. After that, it was just me, my dad Robert, and my younger sister Jessica. Dad worked as a mechanic at a local shop, long hours and tough work that left him tired and grumpy most days. Jessica was 15, 3 years younger than me, and from the moment Mom died, something changed in her. She became Dad's little princess, his favorite, the one who could do no wrong. Me, I became the backup plan, the kid who was just there. Jessica had always been clever, but after Mom passed, she got manipulative. Little things at first. She'd forget to tell me Dad needed me to do chores, then act all innocent when Dad yelled at me for not doing them. She'd use my stuff without asking, and then cry to Dad when I called her out. Dad always believed her. Always. "She's just a kid, Jake," he'd say. "You're the older one. You should know better." The thing that destroyed my life started on a random Tuesday in March. Dad had been saving money in an old coffee tin in his bedroom. About $1,200 he'd been putting away for Jessica's Sweet 16 party that summer. Jessica had been planning this party for months, going on and on about the DJ she wanted and the dress she needed. I didn't care much about it, to be honest. I was too busy trying to figure out how I'd afford books for my classes when I started college in the fall. I came home from my shift at the grocery store around 9 p.m. The house was dark except for the TV flickering in the living room where Dad was watching some game. Jessica's door was closed. She was probably on her phone like always. I grabbed a soda from the fridge, said hi to Dad, and went to my room. Normal night. Nothing special. I fell asleep watching YouTube videos on my crappy old laptop. The next morning, all hell broke loose. I woke up to Dad yanking my door open so hard it bounced off the wall. "Where is it?" he shouted, his face already red with anger. I sat up, confused and still half asleep. "Where's what?" "Don't play stupid with me, Jake. The money. The $1,200 from my room. Where the hell did you put it?" My stomach dropped. "Dad, I don't know what you're talking about. I just woke up. I counted it yesterday afternoon. It was all there. Now it's gone, and you're the only one who knew where I kept it." His voice was shaking, that particular kind of angry that comes from disappointment. Like he'd expected this from me all along. "I didn't take your money. Why would I do that? I have my own money saved." "Oh, really?" Jessica's voice came from behind Dad. She was standing there in her pajamas, looking all concerned and sad. "Jake, just give it back. Dad worked so hard for that money. It's not fair." The way she said it, so gentle, so disappointed, made me want to throw up. "I didn't take it, Jessica. You know I didn't." Dad's jaw clenched. "Check his room." "Dad, you can't be serious." But he was already pushing past me, going through my drawers, throwing clothes on the floor. Jessica watched from the doorway, biting her lip like she was worried. The whole thing felt surreal, like I was watching it happen to someone else. Dad checked everywhere, under my mattress, in my closet, behind my dresser. He found nothing because there was nothing to find. Check his backpack, Jessica said softly. Maybe he was planning to, I don't know, take it somewhere. My backpack was hanging on my desk chair. Dad grabbed it and dumped everything out. Books, pens, my wallet, some receipts, a half-eaten granola bar. And then, from the small front pocket, out fell a stack of 20s held together with a rubber band. The room went silent. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. That's not. I didn't put that there. Dad, I swear on Mom's grave, I didn't take your money. Dad counted it right there. $600. Exactly half of what was missing. Where's the rest? His voice was quiet now, which was somehow worse than the yelling. I don't know. I didn't take it. Someone put that in my bag. Dad, please, you have to believe me. Enough. He shoved the money in his pocket and looked at me like I was a stranger. I've worked my fingers to the bone for this family. After your mother died, I did everything I could to keep us afloat. And this is how you repay me? Stealing from your own father to do what? Buy drugs? Blow it on some girl? I don't do drugs. And I don't have a girlfriend. Dad, please, just listen. No, you listen. His finger was in my face now. I'm done, Jake. I'm done making excuses for you. I'm done pretending you're going to turn into something you're not. You're 18 now, an adult, and I don't have to keep supporting an adult who steals from me. My throat closed up. I couldn't breathe. What are you saying? I'm saying you need to pack your things and find somewhere else to live. Today, the world tilted. Jessica made a small gasping sound, covering her mouth with her hand like she was shocked. But her eyes, God, her eyes had this gleam in them. She was enjoying this. Dad, you can't kick him out, she said, her voice dripping with fake concern. Where will he go? That's his problem now. He made his choice when he decided to steal from this family. I tried everything. I begged. I pleaded. I told him to check the security cameras, but we didn't have any. I suggested calling my boss to confirm I'd been at work all day yesterday, that I couldn't have taken the money. But Dad was done listening. In his mind, the evidence was clear. The money was in my bag. I was guilty. End of story. I packed my stuff in a daze. 2 duffel bags full of clothes, my laptop, some books, my phone charger. That was it. 18 years of life fit into 2 bags. I carried them downstairs, and Dad was standing by the front door like a bouncer, making sure I actually left. Can I at least take the car? I asked. Mom's old Honda Civic that she'd left to me. It was technically mine.
That car stays here until you pay me back the $1,200 you stole, plus another $1,000 for all the trouble you caused. But I needed to get to work. Should have thought about that before you became a thief. I looked at Jessica one last time. She was sitting on the stairs, watching the whole thing. For just a second, our eyes met and she smiled. Not a big smile, just a tiny curl of her lips. And I knew she'd set me up. But how could I prove it? Who would believe me? I walked out of that house with my 2 bags and no car. The door locked behind me with a click that sounded like the end of something. I slept in my friend Tyler's car that first night. He felt bad for me, but his parents wouldn't let me stay at their place. They'd heard I was a thief from somewhere. Small towns are like that. News travels fast. The second night, I slept on a bench at the park until a cop woke me up and told me to move along. The third night, I found a spot behind the grocery store where I worked, curled up between a dumpster and the wall, using my duffel bag as a pillow. Those 3 nights taught me something important. When you lose everything, you find out who you really are. And I decided I wasn't going to be the guy who stayed down. I couch surfed for 2 weeks until I found a room for rent in a house with 4 other people. It was a dump. Roaches in the kitchen, mold in the bathroom, a mattress on the floor that smelled like cigarettes. But it was mine. Sort of. I paid $300 a month, which was basically all my money from the grocery store. I ate ramen and peanut butter sandwiches. I showered at the gym where I got a membership because it was cheaper than paying for hot water at the house. Community college was out of the question. I couldn't afford it anymore. But here's the thing nobody tells you about hitting rock bottom. It makes you mean. Not mean like cruel, but mean like determined, like hungry. I started working 2 jobs, the grocery store during the day and washing dishes at a restaurant at night. I slept 4 hours a night. I saved every penny. And I made myself a promise. I was going to be somebody. Not for Dad. Not to prove Jessica wrong. But for me, because I deserve better than being treated like trash. Before I go on, I need to ask you something. If this story is hitting you somewhere deep, if you've ever felt thrown away by the people who were supposed to love you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. These stories, they're not just entertainment. They're proof that we survive, that we overcome. And every subscriber tells me that someone out there gets it. Someone out there understands. Now back to the story. Years went by. 1 year turned into 2, then 5, then 10. I never heard from Dad. Not on my birthday, not on Christmas. Nothing. It was like I'd never existed. I heard through the grapevine that Jessica had her big party, that she graduated high school, that she went to college on Dad's dime. Good for her, I guess. Meanwhile, I was grinding. I got promoted to assistant manager at the grocery store, quit the restaurant job, and started taking online classes at night. Business administration. It took me 6 years, but I got my bachelor's degree. Walked across that stage with nobody in the audience cheering for me. But I didn't care. I'd done it by myself. For myself. At 25, I got a job as a sales rep for a tech company. Turned out I was good at it. Really good. I had this way of talking to people, making them trust me, probably because I'd learned to read people after Jessica's betrayal. I could spot a liar a mile away now. Within 2 years, I was the top seller in my region. By 28, I'd been promoted to regional sales director. I was making 6 figures. I bought a house, a real house with 3 bedrooms and a garage. I drove a BMW. I wore suits that cost more than my first month's rent in that roach-infested room. I was successful, but I'd be lying if I said I was happy. There was this hollow spot inside me where my family used to be. Sometimes I'd drive past the old neighborhood, slow down when I passed our house, and wonder if Dad ever thought about me, if he ever regretted what he did, if Jessica ever felt guilty. Then came last year. I was 30, living my best life on the surface, still hollow underneath. I'd started getting active on LinkedIn, posting about sales strategies and career development. My profile was getting traction. 10,000 followers, then 20, then 50. Some of my posts went viral. I was becoming known in my industry. One Tuesday evening in October, I got a message request on LinkedIn. The preview showed it was from someone named Robert Morrison. My stomach flipped. I knew before I even opened it. Jake, this is your father. I found your profile and I've been reading your posts. I'm proud of what you've become. I'd like to talk if you're willing. I think we need to clear the air about what happened all those years ago. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. I've missed you, son. I stared at that message for an hour. Just stared at it. 12 years. 12 years of silence. And now he wanted to talk? Now he was proud? My finger hovered over the delete button. It would be so easy. Just delete it and move on. Pretend I never saw it. But that hollow spot inside me was aching. Part of me, the 18-year-old kid who got thrown out, wanted to hear him say he was sorry. Wanted validation that I wasn't a thief. Wasn't worthless. But the other part of me, the part that had survived 3 nights on the street, that had built himself from nothing, that part wanted something else. That part wanted revenge. I didn't reply that night. I thought about it. Really thought about what I wanted to say. Because words matter. And I only had one shot to say exactly what needed to be said. 3 days later, I typed out my response. It took me 2 hours to get it right. When I finally hit send, my hand was shaking. Dad, I got your message. I appreciate you reaching out, and I'm glad you've been following my career. I've thought a lot about what happened 12 years ago, and I think it's important we address it properly. You were right about one thing. We do need to clear the air. I'm willing to meet with you, but I need to be honest about where I'm at. The truth about that day has weighed on me for years, and I think it's time everything came to light. Before we meet, though, I need you to do something for me. I need you to ask Jessica about the money. Really ask her. Look her in the eye and ask her what happened to the other $600 that was never found. Ask her why my backpack was so convenient to search. Ask her who suggested looking there. And after you ask her those questions, if you still want to meet, let me know. I'll be waiting. I sent it and closed my laptop. My heart was pounding. I'd just lit a match and thrown it into a pile of gasoline. 2 days passed. No response. I figured maybe Dad had gotten mad. Maybe he decided I was still the same ungrateful son he'd kicked out. Fine. Whatever. I'd lived without him for 12 years. I could live the rest of my life the same way. Then, on the 3rd day, my phone rang. Unknown number. Ohio area code. I answered. Hello. Heavy breathing. Then Jake? It was Dad. His voice was different. Older, shakier. He sounded like he'd been crying. Yeah, it's me. He choked up. I talked to Jessica. My entire body went rigid. And she confessed. She told me everything. His voice cracked. Oh, God, Jake. What have I done? What have I done to you? Here's what had happened. After getting my message, Dad had driven over to Jessica's apartment. She was 27 now, working as a dental hygienist, engaged to some guy named Brett. Dad told me he'd walked in and just flat out asked her, exactly like I'd suggested. And Jessica, who'd been living with this secret for 12 years, who'd built her life on the money she'd stolen and the brother she'd erased, finally broke. She admitted that she'd taken the money. All of it. She'd been mad at Dad for spending so much on her party when she wanted a car instead. In her twisted logic, if she framed me and got me out of the house, Dad would feel guilty and buy her a car to make up for it. She'd hidden $600 in my backpack the night before, knowing Dad would search my room. The other $600 she'd stashed in her closet, planning to find it later and play the hero. Her plan had worked perfectly. I got kicked out. 2 weeks later, Dad bought her a used Honda Accord because he felt bad about everything that had happened. She got exactly what she wanted, and all it cost was her brother's life. On the phone, Dad was sobbing. I threw you out. My son. I called you a thief, and I threw you out onto the street. You were just a kid, just 18, and I believed her over you. I didn't even question it. I was so angry about the money, and you were always the easy target. Not my perfect Jessica. Never her. If you're still watching, I need to tell you something. This next part, this is where it gets real. And if you've made it this far with me, if you've lived through your own betrayal, your own family drama, go ahead and hit that like button. Let me know I'm not alone in this. Because what I'm about to tell you next, it might make me sound cold, but sometimes survival makes you hard. I listened to Dad cry for 5 minutes. I didn't say anything, just listened. Part of me felt bad for him, but most of me felt nothing at all. Just this calm, cold emptiness. When he finally got control of himself, he said, Jake, I need to see you. I need to apologize face to face. I need to make this right. Please, give me a chance to fix this. You want to fix it? I said. My voice sounded flat, even to me. Yes. God, yes. Anything. Whatever you need. Okay, I'll meet with you, but not alone. I want Jessica there too. She's scared to face you. She knows what she did was. I don't care what she wants. If you want forgiveness, if you want to make things right, then we do this properly. Both of you. Together. You both owe me that much. There was a long pause. Then, okay, I'll talk to her. When? 2 weeks from today. I'll text you the address. Don't be late. I hung up without saying goodbye. Here's what I didn't tell Dad. I wasn't planning to give him forgiveness. I was planning to give him truth. The whole truth. Every ugly piece of it. Because that's what he deserved. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing. I'd learned a lot about presentation in my sales career. How to control a room. How to make an impact. How to make people feel exactly what you want them to feel. This was going to be my greatest pitch yet, and the product I was selling was my pain. I rented a private room at a nice restaurant downtown. Not too fancy, but nice enough to feel important. I got there early, set up my laptop, had everything ready. At 6 p.m. on the dot, Dad walked in. He looked old. I mean, I knew 12 years had passed, but seeing him in person hit different. His hair was completely gray. His face was weathered. He'd lost weight. He looked smaller than I remembered. "Jake," he said, his voice barely a whisper. He stood in the doorway like he was afraid to come closer. "Dad, have a seat." He sat down across from me, hands shaking. "You look good. Successful. I'm so sorry I wasn't there to." "Where's Jessica?" "She's coming. She's scared, Jake." "She should be." 10 awkward minutes later, Jessica walked in. She looked different, too. Older, obviously. Her hair shorter, professional clothes. But her eyes were the same. Those eyes that had gleamed with victory when I got kicked out. Now they were red from crying. "Jake," she said softly, standing by the door just like Dad had. "Sit down, Jessica." She sat next to Dad, and they looked at me like I was a judge about to deliver a sentence. In a way, I guess I was. "Thank you both for coming," I said, keeping my voice calm and professional. "I know this isn't easy. It's not easy for me either. But I think it's important we address what happened 12 years ago with complete honesty. Dad, you said you wanted to make things right. Jessica, you confess what you did. So let's start there. Jessica, why don't you tell me in your own words exactly what happened and why you did it?" She started crying immediately. "I'm so sorry, Jake. I was so young and stupid and selfish. I didn't realize what would happen to you. I just wanted a car so badly, and I thought She covered her face with her hands. "I'm so sorry. You thought if you framed me for theft and got me kicked out, Dad would buy you a car." She nodded, sobbing. "And it worked." She nodded again. "And for 12 years, you let me believe that Dad thought I was a thief. You let me struggle and suffer and build a life from nothing, all while you drove around the car that my destroyed relationship with my father bought you. You went to college on his dime. You lived your life. And you never once reached out to tell me the truth. Never once tried to fix what you broke." "I wanted to," she whispered. "So many times I want to tell Dad, but I was scared. And then so much time had passed, and I thought, you thought it was too late, that the damage was already done, so why bother, right?" She didn't answer, just kept crying. I turned to Dad. "And you believed her instantly, didn't even question it. Your 18-year-old son, who had never stolen anything in his life, who worked 2 jobs to save for college, who took care of Mom when she was sick. You threw him out like trash based on money conveniently found in his backpack. You didn't give me the benefit of the doubt. You didn't investigate. You just decided I was guilty and got rid of me. Do you have any idea what those first few weeks were like for me?" Dad's hands were shaking. "No. Tell me, please." So I told them. I told them about sleeping behind the dumpster, about being so hungry I stole food from the grocery store I worked at, actually became the thief Dad had accused me of being just to survive, about the roach-infested room, about working 90-hour weeks, about walking across that graduation stage alone, about every birthday, every Christmas, every moment I'd achieved something and had nobody to share it with. And you want to know the worst part? I said, my voice finally started to crack. The worst part wasn't the struggle. It wasn't being homeless or hungry or alone. The worst part was believing I deserved it. For years, I thought maybe I was a bad son. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe Dad was right to throw me away. It took me years of therapy to understand that I didn't deserve what happened to me, that I was just a kid whose father failed him. Dad was full on sobbing now. "Jake, please. I'll do anything. Anything to make this right. Name it. Money? I'll sell the house. Whatever you need." "I don't need your money, Dad. I make more in a month than you probably make in a year. No offense, but I'm successful. Really successful. I did that. Me. Without you." I opened my laptop and turned it around to show them my LinkedIn profile, my follower count, screenshots of my bank account. My house, my car, everything I'd built. See this? I did this by myself. Because I had to. Because I didn't have a choice. And I'm grateful for that, in a weird way. Because if you hadn't thrown me out, I might have stayed comfortable. Stayed small. Stayed in that dead-end town, working at a grocery store forever. You and Jessica actually did me a favor. Jessica looked up confused. What? You made me strong. You made me hungry. You made me into someone who doesn't quit, who doesn't depend on anyone, who doesn't trust easily. That's valuable. So in a weird way, I should be thanking you. Dad shook his head frantically. Don't say that. Don't say we did you a favor. We destroyed you. You tried to destroy me, but I didn't let you. And that's the difference. I closed my laptop and leaned back in my chair. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to walk out of here tonight, and I'm going to continue living my life, my successful, independent life. And you too are going to live with what you did. Dad, you're going to live with the knowledge that you threw away your son because you couldn't be bothered to believe him. You're going to think about me every time you look at Jessica, knowing she played you like a fiddle. And Jessica, you're going to live with the guilt of destroying your brother's life for a used Honda Accord. Every time you drive a car, every time you see siblings together, you're going to remember what you did. Jake, please. Dad reached across the table. I stood up. I don't forgive you. Either of you. Maybe someday I will, but not today. Today, I just wanted you to know that I survived, that I won, that your worst moment became my greatest motivation. You threw me away when I was 18 and told me I wasn't worth the trouble. But I was worth it. I've always been worth it. It just took losing you to realize that. I grabbed my laptop and headed for the door. Wait, Jessica said, standing up. What about us? What about our family? I stopped and turned around. What family? You destroyed our family 12 years ago when you chose a car over your brother. I'm not here to rebuild something that was never real to begin with. I'm here to close a chapter. Consider it closed. I walked out. Behind me, I heard Dad break down completely. I heard Jessica trying to calm him down through her own sobs. And I felt nothing, just that same calm emptiness. I got in my BMW and drove home to my house. The house I bought, the life I built, and for the first time in 12 years, I felt free. Here's the thing about revenge. People think it has to be dramatic. They think you have to destroy someone's life or ruin them financially or publicly humiliate them. But sometimes the best revenge is just showing someone that their worst couldn't break your best, that their rejection couldn't stop your success, that you didn't need them after all. Dad kept trying to call me after that. Left voicemails crying and apologizing. Jessica sent me long texts about how she'd been in therapy, how she'd grown as a person, how she wanted a chance to be siblings again. I read them all, didn't respond to any of them. About a month after our meeting, Dad sent me one final message. I know you don't owe me anything, but I need you to know that I told everyone what really happened. Everyone in town knows now that you were innocent, that I was wrong. I've been going to the cemetery every week to talk to your mother. I tell her how sorry I am that I failed our son, that I let her down. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying to be better, that I see clearly now what I couldn't see then. You deserve better, Jake. You always did. I save that message. Sometimes I read it when that hollow spot starts aching again. It doesn't fill the hole, but it acknowledges that the hole exists, that it was real, that I wasn't crazy. Last week, I got invited to speak at a sales conference. 15,000 people in attendance. As I stood on that stage, looking out at all those faces, talking about resilience and self-belief and never giving up, I thought about 18-year-old me sleeping behind a dumpster. I thought about what I would tell him if I could go back. I'd tell him it gets better. I'd tell him that the people who throw you away don't get to define your worth. I'd tell him to hold on, keep fighting, because there's a life waiting for him that he can't even imagine yet. A life where he's respected, successful, independent. A life where he doesn't need Dad's approval or Jessica's guilt. A life that's entirely his own. That's my revenge. Living well, living free, living proof that you don't need to be kept to be valuable. And the dad sitting in his truck, crying for an hour after reading my reply? Good. Cry. Feel the weight of what you did. Because I carried that weight alone for 12 years. Now it's your turn. As for Jessica, I heard through someone that she broke off her engagement, that the guilt was eating her alive, that she couldn't look at herself in the mirror anymore. Part of me feels bad about that, but most of me doesn't. Some lessons need to hurt before they stick. I'm 30 years old. I have a great career, a nice house, good friends I've made along the way. The hollow spot is still there, but it's smaller now. I've learned to fill it with things that matter, accomplishments, experiences, people who actually value me. I don't need a father who threw me away or a sister who betrayed me. I needed to learn I could survive without them. And I did. That's the end of my story. The revenge isn't dramatic. There's no public shaming or legal action or destroyed reputations. The revenge is simply this. I'm happy. I'm successful. I'm whole. And they have to live knowing they almost destroyed someone who became great despite them, not because of them. If there's anything I want you to take from this, it's that sometimes people will treat you like you're worthless. Family, friends, whoever. They'll throw you away and expect you to stay down. Don't. Get up. Keep fighting. Build something so amazing that when they finally realize what they lost, it's too late to get you back. Because you were always worth it. Just like I was. Just like we all are. Thanks for listening to my story. I hope it meant something to you. I hope it reminded you that survival is its own form of victory. And if you're out there right now feeling thrown away, feeling worthless, feeling like nobody believes in you, I believe in you. I'm proof that you can make it through. That better days are coming. That the people who gave up on you don't get to write your ending. You do. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching this from. I'm seeing viewers from all over the United States, the Philippines, Canada, and I know we got a strong crew from New York City too. Here's why I'm asking. I want to build a community of people who understand that our stories matter. No matter where you're from, whether you're watching from Manila at 3 a.m., from Toronto during your lunch break, from New York on your subway ride, or from anywhere across the U.S., your presence here means something. It means you believe in second chances and comeback stories just like I do. So, comment below with your city or country. Let's see how far this message has reached. And if this story touched you, hit that subscribe button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Someone out there is sleeping behind a dumpster right now, feeling worthless, and they need to know they're not alone. Let's make sure they find this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being part of this journey.